Hey everyone, I'm Penrost. I'm going to be busy in real life for a bit, so this is probably getting uploaded a little late, but I figured I should at least record my reactions to the new Spring Banner, as it's new. Well, here it is, Spring Banner. We've got a bubble banner, as is common, and starting off with the silhouettes were right. Bernadetta, Spring Bernadetta, late Hibernator. Yes, get in your cave. She is a blue bow cavalry unit and armed with the Bow of Repose. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1, effective against flying foes. At start of turn, if unit's HP is equal to 100%, units within 2 spaces of an ally deals 1 damage to units and allies within 2 spaces of units. So, copying Winter Bernadetta's gimmick there. At start of combat, if unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, grants attack speed defense res +5 to unit and inflicts speed defense -X on foe during combat, where X is the number of spaces from start position to end position of whoever initiates combat times 2 plus 3, max 11. Okay, so I have to do some maths there, I'll figure that out in a second. And also, the following effects will occur based on that number of spaces. If greater than or equal to 1 space, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. Greater than or equal to 2 also neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat, and effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. Okay, so we've got a health and distance-based effect. Admittedly, the health condition pretty much always triggers itself unless she gets healed or full started, although again, if she does get healed or full started or whatever else, then it looks like the entire weapon effect gets turned off, so that's something to be a little wary about. But first things first, yeah. +5 to all stats, normal. Speed defense -X. Okay, so if you move no space, it's free. Then up to 5 for 1 space, 7 for 2 spaces, 9 for 3 spaces. To get 11, you do have to go 4 spaces, which is, to be fair, very possible. But keep that in mind. And then, if it's greater than or equal to 1 space, 30% damage reduction, which is just enough to live some hits in practice. Greater than or equal to 2 spaces, offensive null follow-up, and offensive tempo, the offensive halves of both of those skills. So, very offensively minded weapon here, basically intending you to take 1 combat and hit very hard. Makes sense. Special is Draconic Aura, a slot Remote Sparrow, so actually the survivability is a bit better than I said. 2 sets of 30% is roughly equal to 50%, 70 times 70, 0.49, so that's basically 50, right? So with that, she should be able to survive a decent number of encounters. Obviously anything that kills her twice over, or anything that doubles, because again, she's only got the offensive half of null follow-up, so if it doubles and she doesn't kill, then she has issues. In the B slot, something very new, Escape Route 4. When unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, enables Canto 1, also activates if conditions are met due to effects after combat. Okay, so even if you're taking damage after combat, I guess that means, does that mean like from a push skill? Or does it just mean if your HP drops below full in combat? Well, in any case, Canto 1 inflicts attack speed -3 on foe during combat. If a unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 3 spaces. Ooh, and if unit's HP is less than or equal to 60%, unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally. So, okay, going from the bottom to the top, a bit of an upgrade on the standard escape route condition. I think escape route 3 is 50%, 60% bit easier to meet. But if if unit has taken any damage, basically, you get to move to a space adjacent to any ally within 3 spaces. That is effectively giving you a free 4-tile orders style movement, which, honestly, given how Bernadetta's effect here works as well, that is kind of insane. People who've watched my defenses have probably seen how far teams can ladder out with autos, and that allows 3 tiles of movement. Being able to go 4 tiles is, to be frank, insane. And you can just do this with, well, admittedly, to build a full team like this, you've got to do something very funny, which is run Bernadetta on a team full of units you've sacrificed additional copies of Bernadetta to. But in exchange for that, there is potential for some ridiculous mobility there. And also the Canto 1 is, well, it's actually pretty useful if you're stacking units of the same movement type, because it lets them, if you've got an enemy in a specific place, it lets them shuffle out of the way to A, free up their spot for the next unit to attack from, but also B, move 1 tile adjacent to their spot so that other allies who are also doing the same escape route 4 strategy can then fill in that slot. All that being said, this is a very strong unit, a very cool unit. I'm not actually sure how useful this is necessarily on Aether-Raid's defense specifically. Obviously on Aether-Raid's offense you can use escape route 4 for some crazy stuff probably. On Aether-Raid's defense, she basically runs into the problem that what season and what team do you run this on, right? Because, well, Dark Season, you kind of want Medea to stop bolt towers. Without that bolt tower protection, you are very likely to just get blown up. Although then again, it might be runnable without Medea's, just hope that nobody brings a bolt tower because Medea's is so common, right? And on Astra Anima Season, she can just get false started and doesn't get to do the effect at all, which basically completely turns off her weapon. And lastly, in the C slot, Defense Res Smoke 3, this is very good. It's obviously Defense Res Smoke, and then grants attack +6 and to ally units and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn, and then Pathfinder, which, as you've probably seen by this point, again allows your team some pretty great mobility by going through the space of the unit that just attacked to get an additional bit of reach. Very, very cool. So yeah, I think this is a very influential unit. The tempo is nice. Tempo null follow-up, always a great combination for dealing with tanks, but has some insane combinations with Escape Route 4 that I'm very excited to see what people do with. Let's keep going. Now, Winter Bernadetta had some of my favourite animations in the game. This Bernadetta they haven't gone quite so fancy with. Next up, Triandra. Where's her outfit?
Those consumed by
Like,
nightmare long to finally
she's got an egg. And I guess bunny ears as well, but normally people have a bit more theming than that, but hey, I guess this is still cool. Yeah, the bunny ears really kind of blended into her wings there. I didn't see them first. The weapon, the egg I was talking about, is Nightmare's Egg. This is a colourless tome. Triandra is, of course, flying. Grants speed +3 if a skill like sing or dance is used. Grants foe penalty doubler to target and allies within 2 spaces of target, excluding unit, and inflicts panic on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target. And at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat. Well, to begin with, I think this is actually pretty strong already because it's foe penalty doubler. my friends. We've seen it before on Panic Smoke 4, but that's kind of an awkward way to actually apply foe penalty doubler. You've got to have very careful positioning because it's specifically cardinal, and it requires to take one combat before you can even get foe penalty doubler online. Here, we're bringing it online with a dance instead. That means a lot. That gives you opportunities to set it up while you're still moving units about so that you get to benefit from it for all combats, and for 2 space radius is also a lot more forgiving in terms of positioning. And foe penalty doubler is a very useful effect to have around, especially given how much Unity style teams are really starting to pick up at the moment. Especially with Legendary Robin giving Gran strategy just out to everyone. The dance is Triandra's classic dance, Frightful Dream. It's a dance, inflicts attack speed, defense, res -3, and guard on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target through their next actions. So again, this dance applies penalties and matches up with the panic effect as well. So basically, her dance is in cardinal directions, doing almost exactly the same thing as Panic Smoke 4, but on a dancer. Did I mention this is great? In the B slot, Firestorm Dance free. If a skill like Sing or Dance is used, enables Canto 1 and grants attack speed +6 and Desperation to target for 1 turn. Desperation. Ooh, that is some spice. Desperation, to anyone. Anyone at all. That's nasty. That is very nasty on your quad-based teams, but like the ones I run. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, Desperation just grants you the status just grants you your follow-up attack before foes counterattack. But yeah, so Canto 1 when you dance is, well, it's handy for just positioning neatly. But yeah, that buff is chef's kiss. The attack speed +6 is nice, but I mean, there are other things in the world. And in the C slot, defense, res, hold. Again, as a dancer, not necessarily a unit you want to be getting into combats. She does have attack plus speed +6 during combat, but I mean, no. But so a very supportive C slot is excellent for her. This is, I think, one of the better dancers in the game. Maybe not the best dancer, because that slot, I think, has to go for a dancer with just greater action economy. So either your legendary Ninian, if you can't use duo skills, or if you can use duo skills, I'd still put something like duo Peony at the top. But aside from that, the measure of a dancer is normally how much extra support they can provide alongside their dance, and the status is that Triandra's applying here, and that Firestorm Dance free giving Desperation. Well, that is inheritable. That is very, very juicy. So another pretty strong unit to pick up here, I think. Let's keep going, see who our 4-star unit is. Oh, cracking the egg. It's full of vines. Spiky vines. Ashe! Okay. I really like the dark blue and orange he's got going on here. It's a good colour scheme. And Ashe is a red dagger flyer. That is without a doubt a 4-star kit. Bunny's Egg is the inheritable seasonal weapon. The Star of Combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +5 during combat, and reduces damage from foes' first attack during combat by 30%. Plus it's a dagger, so of course it does dagger 7. Rally up speed. Well, actually, let's talk about the weapon first. Not much to talk about. It's 30% damage reduction. It's neat. It's definitely a weapon that is usable I still think that for most units, well, I mean, the courtly, is it courtly mask that does the same thing as the damage reduction? Yeah, for most slower units, courtly mask would be the preferred one. So this is basically on the niche of, well, you're a fast dagger, but you want to be able to live a hit. Don't think it's actually the best option for Ashe specifically, because if you're a fast dagger and want to live a hit, you kind of also want null follow-up somewhere in that kit, which is not present here, and can't even be run as a seal on a flying unit, so, oh no. But for infantry daggers, there's definitely potentially some use for this, the ones that don't have PRFs of their own, of course. Rally up speed. Rally up skills are super useful to have for various AI reasons, so happy to see it on a 4-star, honestly. A slot is attack speed catch free. Catch skills are still pretty great, so being able to inherit one easily enough, get the catch 4, cool. And in the C slot, attack speed Rhine free. Again, Rhines are already pretty great supportive skills. They also lead into holds, which are pretty ridiculous supportive skills. So, yeah, this isn't really necessarily the best kit for Ashe himself, but it does provide a lot of great fodder. Like, every single one of the skills here is useful to some units, which I think is a lot more than could be said for a lot of 4-star seasonals we've had recently. Cool, good job, Ashe. You're useful. Shown here, surviving a hit from a red bow. Don't know how much attack that red bow has. And who is that? Well, I recognize Freyja. Is that? It's Karla.
Rabbits.
And yeah, looks like Cuboon has done it again. Done it here being that thing that Cuboon does, you know, milk truck. Don't know if I like it personally, but I know there's a lot of people out there who do. So congrats to you, horny bastards. Axe Cavalry, armed with the Sisterly War Axe. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1. At the start of odd-numbered turns, grants special cooldown count -2. Okay, if you initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, and deals damage equal to X% of unit speed when special triggers, where X is unit's max special cooldown count value times 10 +20. If you initiate combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, and if unit special triggers, excluding area of effect specials, disables non-special effects that reduce damage by X% and prevents foes specials that are triggered by a unit's attack. Okay, so kind of a Legendary Nana style effect there. Not exactly a perfect Legendary Nana, because it is based off of specials, entirely specials. Now this unit does have a very good ability to do specials. You've got Slaying and a 2 pre-charge, so you can instantly get a free cooldown special that way. If you're willing to wait until turn 3, because this isn't just a start of map thing, it is every odd numbered turn, so if you're willing to wait, you could even pre-charge a 5 cooldown special this way. Admittedly, I'm not necessarily sure you want to, because of the 5 cooldown specials, well, AoE specials are excluded from the whole disables effects thing, and Gale Force is a non-damaging special, so all the effects that benefit your special triggering are pointless. So it's basically just Aether, and do you really want to run pre-charged Aether, right? Because you're not even taking damage before it goes off. But it's a cute idea anyway. But yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. Silly tangent. In any case, yeah. High potential for special pre-charging, high special damage with that speed-based extra damage. Again, for speed-based extra damage, normally you want to run lower cooldown specials because you're getting that flat plus 20% anyway, so if you're able to special more frequently, that's worth it. But here it looks like they're very specifically built around the idea of running a free cooldown special. Again, this unit isn't awful. From just reading this though, I still think Legendary Nana might be stronger overall. A couple of reasons. One, Legendary Nana has her whole built-in thing of, was it Desperation? I don't actually remember Legendary Nana's effects, but that. Two, the other thing, Legendary Nana doesn't rely on her own special. Now, admittedly, there aren't very many units that do this yet, but this unit has no tempo. This unit relies purely on their special pre-charging, and admittedly, they do that pretty well. But there are units out there, and it's becoming more common for units out there to have this, that can now decharge special before combat. Your Brave Tiki, your Ascended Tiki, Jojuma, etc., etc. So if a unit has that and has guard, then your whole special-based shredding damage reduction and preventing damage reducing specials, that is now suddenly not happening. So in compared to Legendary Nana, who there's basically no counter for except for just having good enough stats to live, you can't damage reduce her at all. Here, the fact that it's reliant on specials makes it a lot less reliable. On the other hand, against units who can't stop that, the fact that you're relying on specials makes it potentially a lot more reliable at breaking through units who would otherwise wall you with stats, because you can use those instant pre-charge specials for a massive burst of damage. So it's kind of half one way, half the other, right? In any case, the rest of the kit, Draconic Aura, as I said, free cooldown special, makes sense. Attack speed clash 4. They are a Cav unit, so they can make very good use of that. Flow near trace. Okay, a Kento skill. And a half offensive, half null follow-up. I guess, yeah, if they need a bit more damage. I mean, I'd assume they'd be looking to win with their special, but sure, we can run with that, because sometimes you need just a little bit more, right? And in the C slot, speed, smoke, 4. This has been on quite a lot of units recently. I guess IS realized that it's very popular and decided to go around the route of putting it on every unit they want to sell, rather than the other route of keeping it very rare so that people have to pull for it. Well, that's very nice of them, I suppose, but I guess the idea is they're going to be a high speed unit. Makes sense. Freyja was one of the original units that pushed the speed cap, so and I think Karla was as well, possibly. I don't remember quite that far back. But I guess the idea is that'll give them at least a bit of tankiness to work with as well, although the entire rest of their kit is not tanky at all. It's entirely about offensive power, so other than, again, what other C-slot would you put on them, right? So, yeah, makes sense. Okay, and they're going to have a Harmonic skill as well, so I guess I'll look at that before I judge them completely. What's it do? Oh, grants special cooldown count -2 to unit and allies from the same titles as unit, and grants attacks +6 and resonance blades to unit and allies from the same titles as unit for 1 turn. Okay, so another special cooldown count. Given that the weapon activates every odd turn, I'm guessing the intended use is that you then pop this on your even turn, probably turn 2, in order to do your thing, so that you don't have a downtime turn. But also, it's just a pure offensive stat boost as well. Okay, makes a lot of sense. All in all, then, well, it's an interesting unit. I still prefer Legendary Nana overall, I'll be honest, but this is definitely a valid side grade to Legendary Nana for people who want to fill that role of a melee. Just please let me ignore damage reduction. I swear I don't want anything more to do with damage reduction type of unit. Yep, there it is. We're gonna see.
Behold, spring has arrived.
Indeed, it has. Yep.
What is it?
And actually, the charging effect is going to be handy for supporting other units as well.
Even once.
We've seen this before with Duo Asker, etc. Let's see who our Tempest Trial unit is. As expected, that looks like Michalis. Cool. And he was a Lance Flyer by the looks of it, so probably going to get a Courtly Candleish Lance as well. Lastly, looking at these units, let's give my final thoughts. Honestly, normally the Duo or Harmonic on these banners is the most impactful ones. This time, I think that Bernadetta, well, not even Bernadetta herself, because Bernadetta herself is basically kind of a slight upgrade over Winter Bernadetta, but I think that the biggest contribution to the metagame in terms of breaking new ground here is Escape Route 4. That's like the thing I'm most excited for here. So yeah, in terms of impact, I'd rank Bernadetta highest, just for her inheritable and then being able to set it up. Then probably Triandra, because she's filling some really unique space as a dancer in terms of what she provides, and the Firestorm dance skill. Chef's kiss. And then Harmonic Karla is pretty strong, but I don't know, still feels like she's in that cavalry bruiser space where we've seen several units who can kind of do this. They are melee cavalry nukes that are very difficult to stop, and how impactful they are is generally like moderate, but you still, at least on FEH, don't see Legendary Nana too much, for instance. These units are all very cool. I probably am not gonna summon on this banner personally, because I'd like to save up orbs to get as many copies of Ophelia as possible from our good old Hero Rises banner, but let me know if you guys are summoning. Let me know what you all think. I'll see you all next time. Penrost is out.